Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, replaying the same conversation over and over in your head, wondering what you could have said differently? Or maybe you catch yourself constantly worrying about things that haven't even happened yet and might never happen at all. That's overthinking. And here's the hard truth. It's quietly destroying your life. We often brush it off, thinking it's just part of being a thoughtful person. But overthinking isn't harmless. It's a mental trap that slowly eats away at your peace of mind. It keeps you stuck in the past, paralyzed about the future, and disconnected from the present moment. You may not even realize it, but overthinking robs you of clarity, confidence, and joy. It wears you down, like a storm that never ends. And the worst part? Most of us think it's normal. But what if I told you it's not? What if there's a better way to think, to feel, and to live? Let's talk about how we can break free from this cycle. Because you deserve more than a life spent trapped in your own head. Number 1. The hidden damage of overthinking. Let's be clear, overthinking isn't just a harmless habit. It's a mental trap. And once you're in it, it quietly eats away at your focus, energy, and confidence. You start replaying the same problems, questioning every decision, second-guessing your instincts. And the more you think, the more stuck you feel. It's like being trapped in a loop with no exit, just noise. Ever had a great opportunity in front of you but you froze because you were afraid to make the wrong move? That's what overthinking does. It paralyzes you. It makes you doubt your own judgment. You delay decisions, avoid risks, and stay stuck exactly where you are, not because you're lazy, but because your mind has become your biggest obstacle. And over time, it doesn't just slow you down, it holds you back. In your work, your relationships, your potential. The cost of overthinking is far greater than we admit. And the first step to breaking free is to see it for what it really is. A quiet enemy hiding behind being careful. Number 2. How Stoicism helps you escape overthinking. One of the most powerful ideas from Stoic philosophy is actually pretty simple. Focus only on what you can control. That's it. Overthinking often begins when we try to control the uncontrollable, what someone else thinks of us, how the future will unfold, or whether a situation will go perfectly according to plan. But the truth is, we can't control any of that. Marcus Aurelius and Seneca said it clearly. Don't waste your energy on what lies beyond your reach, because when you do, you surrender your peace to things that were never yours to hold in the first place. There's a Stoic principle called the dichotomy of control, and it changes everything. It divides the world into two categories: what you can control and what you cannot. Overthinking lives in the second category. So here's a thought. What if, instead of spiraling about the outcome, you simply focused on your next action, your attitude, your effort? Because when you learn to let go of the rest, life suddenly feels a lot lighter. Number 3. Reframing with Stoic wisdom. Here's something the Stoics knew long before modern psychology caught up. It's not the event that harms you, it's how you interpret it. Think about that for a second. How many times has something small ruined your whole day, not because of what happened, but because of the story you told yourself about it? That's where reframing comes in. It's the Stoic art of shifting perspective. Instead of thinking, "This is terrible, what if everything goes wrong?" you ask, "What can I control in this situation?" That simple question pulls you out of panic and into power. Reframing doesn't mean denying reality. It means choosing a lens that serves you instead of one that traps you. It's the difference between feeling stuck and seeing opportunity. When life throws uncertainty your way, and it will, how you frame it determines whether you freeze or whether you rise. And the beauty is, you get to choose that frame every single time. Number 4. The power of the Stoic pause. Sometimes, the smartest thing you can do is nothing, at least not yet. The Stoics had a powerful practice called the pause. It's simple, but incredibly effective, especially when your emotions are running high or your mind is spinning out of control. Instead of reacting immediately, stop. Take one breath, maybe two. Let the space between the trigger and your response grow just a little wider. Why? Because in that space, you take your power back. When you pause, you interrupt the emotional spiral. You don't let anger press send. You don't let fear steer the decision. You allow clarity to show up. And over time, that pause becomes your superpower. It keeps you from saying what you'll regret. It keeps overthinking from hijacking your peace. And most importantly, it reminds you that you're in charge of how you respond even when life feels overwhelming. So next time you're caught in a storm of thought, just pause. That single breath might change everything. Number 5. Practical Stoic exercises to stop overthinking. So, how do we actually apply Stoicism when overthinking strikes? Let's talk about 5 simple but powerful exercises that you can start using today. First, negative visualization. What if the best way to stop fearing the worst is to face it on purpose? That's the power of negative visualization. Instead of avoiding fear, the Stoics taught us to imagine the worst-case scenario clearly, intentionally. Why? Because once you see that even the worst outcome is something you could survive, fear loses its grip. You stumble in a meeting. You get rejected. It stings, but you're still standing. When you make peace with what might go wrong, you stop being controlled by what if and start living with clarity and courage. Second, the dichotomy of control worksheet. Feeling overwhelmed? Grab a pen. Write down everything that's cluttering your mind, the doubts, the worries, the endless what ifs. Now split the list in 2. What you can control and what you can't. It's that simple and that powerful. Most stress lives in the second column, and once you see it clearly, you can let it go. Then shift your focus. Put your energy into the first column, your effort, your choices, your mindset. That's where progress happens. That's where peace begins. Third, mindful journaling. Sometimes, your mind just needs a place to breathe. That's where journaling comes in, not as a chore, but as a daily check-in with yourself. Write down what you're thinking, even if it's messy, especially if it's messy. You'll start to notice patterns. What's real, what's noise, and what needs action. Overthinking thrives in silence, but once thoughts hit the page, they lose power and you gain perspective. Journaling isn't about being a great writer. It's about being an honest thinker. And that honesty, that's where clarity begins. Fourth, self-discipline, the foundation for mental clarity. Overthinking isn't always about fear sometimes. It's about lack of structure. The Stoics believed that an orderly life creates an orderly mind. When your days are chaotic and your goals unclear, your thoughts scatter too, and anxiety fills the space. But discipline brings clarity. Set routines, time limits, decision deadlines. These aren't restrictions, they're anchors. When your mind knows there's a framework, it stops spiraling. As Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. And the best way to manage that imagination? Through simple, daily discipline. Because peace isn't random, it's built. Fifth, living by core values, the antidote to indecision. Indecision often isn't about options, it's about not knowing what truly matters. When your values aren't clear, your mind gets trapped in loops of doubt and hesitation. But the Stoics had a compass: virtue, wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. So next time you're torn, ask, which choice reflects my highest virtue? If your value is courage, you speak the truth even if it risks judgment. And just like that, overthinking fades. Because when your actions align with your values, you stop second-guessing. You move with clarity. You lead with purpose. That's the Stoic way: clear, fast decisions that feel right long after they're made. Let's be clear, overthinking doesn't have to control your life. It might feel like your mind has a mind of its own, racing in circles, replaying conversations, predicting disasters. But you are not your thoughts. You're the observer, the one who gets to choose how to respond. And that's where Stoicism gives you back your power. When you practice it daily, you begin focusing only on what you can control. You learn to shift your perspective before it spirals. And most importantly, you create space between thought and action. That tiny pause, that's where peace lives. Because in that pause, you stop reacting blindly and start responding with intention. You don't need to master everything overnight. Start small, one shift at a time. It's those small changes that build a life of clarity, calm, and deeper direction. So apply what you've learned today. Take the first step. Share this with someone who needs it today. And if you found a sense of peace in this message, follow us to keep receiving ancient wisdom for modern life. Thank you for being part of Ancient Stoic Secrets.